Hey guys, so today I'm going to be discussing the book series that I do not want to finish. This could be a controversial video because a lot of these series could be some of your favorite series. My goal is not to offend anyone with these videos, it's just to help myself get more organized with the book series that I do want to read. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into the book series that I do not plan on finishing. The first book series to start off this list is Matched by Ali Condi. I read this book, I think it was even before BookTube, before I discovered BookTube, before I joined BookTube. I want to say it was maybe in 2012, 2013. I was on the Hunger Games, Divergent, dystopian kick. This was another trilogy that was recommended, and I read the first one and it just didn't grip me. I remember borrowing it from the library and being like, okay, maybe this is okay. And then I felt like I just was gonna force myself to read it because I didn't know of other books. It was, again, before BookTube, before I had like so many book recommendations at my fingertips. So I bought the box set and I had it sit on my shelf for several years and I just never read it and I don't intend to finish it. This is another trilogy that I hear that a lot of people did not finish, so it makes me feel a little bit justified in this decision. But yeah, I can't remember anything too spectacular about this book series, so there's nothing that makes me feel like I want to continue with it. The next book series that I have no intention of finishing is The Haunting of Sunshine Girl by Paige McKenzie, I believe. I read this book a few years ago, the first in the series, and it was supposed to be like this great young adult horror, and you guys know that I love horror, and I was pumped for it. It had like ghost elements, paranormal elements in it, and I was so ready, and I was so let down by this book. I remember giving it 2 out of 5 stars. It was just not good. The writing was so juvenile, and I feel like kind of a prude saying that, but it was really lackluster. The portrayal of teenagers was so bad. Like, maybe if these were teenagers from the 60s, that may have been a thing, but this was set in present day, and it completely fell flat. I know that there's a second book in this series. I don't know if they're planning on doing it any further, but again, I have no plans to read it, so moving on. The next book duology that I really have no plans to finish is If I Stay by Gail Forman. I read If I Stay right before the movie came out because I love Chloe Grace Moretz, and I wanted to read the book before I saw the movie. The book was okay. It was okay. You guys know that contemporary is not my genre, so for me to enjoy contemporary, it's gotta be incredible. It's gotta be incredible, and this was not incredible to me. I think I gave it like a solid 3-star, which 3-star reads are, they're not suck ass, and they're not spectacular, and they're not something that I'm gonna keep on my shelf and keep reading. A part of me wanted to see what happened after the first book, and a part of me was like, I like the way the first book ended. Let's just leave it how it is. So I think that's how I'm gonna leave it. The next book series that I have no intention of ever finishing is the Easy series by Tamara Weber. I think it's called Contours of the Heart series. I'm not sure how many books are actually in this series. I just know that there's a second one and that I, again, have no intention of reading it. I read Easy a couple of years ago, and people were like saying, oh my gosh, this is the best new adult I've ever read. It takes new adult to like new extremes. It's like a revelation in the new adult genre, and it wasn't even close. This story, oh my god, it's just like, give me a new adult story that's not like, ugh. That's not like boy saves girl and then they fall in love, but they have this kind of problematic relationship, but they love each other anyway and have hot sex anyway. Sex, hot sex. I kind of feel like I am done with new adult these days because every time I read it, it lets me down, and this was no exception. The next book series I'm going to mention is actually a trilogy, and it is Burn for Burn by Siobhan Vivian and I think Jenny Han and Siobhan Vivian. I read the first book a couple years ago, and it was by no means like bad, but it was like a contemporary, and I don't know, I grabbed it because I really thought the cover was like striking, and I wanted to have it on my bookshelf. And then I read it, and again, it was just like a 3-star. It was about a group of girls who like are all seeking revenge on the people that hurt them, and it's such a cliche storyline. And I was hoping that it would bring something new and interesting to that very used trope in YA, but actually it did. There was something at the end that was like really like, whoa, where did that come from? I was not expecting it. But it still wasn't really enough to convince me to finish the trilogy, so I just don't think I'm gonna do that. The next book series I'm going to mention is Obsidian by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This has like 5 or 6 books, I think. I read Obsidian and I enjoyed it. It's about a girl who is actually like a booktuber or a book vlogger, so right away that's really interesting. And she falls in love with her neighbor who is an alien, and that's also like interesting. It definitely gave me like Roswell vibes, but again, it was like a 3-star read for me, and when I think back on it, I don't ever get excited about the prospect of continuing it. But the writing was good. I mean, I do like Jennifer L. Armentrout's writing. I haven't read anything else by her, but if you guys have any recommendations for some of her other books that you think I'd like that aren't necessarily like a 5-book series, I could be into that. I just don't really feel like diving into another series that I'm not like 150% super excited about. So I think I'm just gonna stop at book 1. The next book series I'm gonna talk about is the Wrinkle in Time Quartet. I think it's got 5 books, so that's a quintet, right? Yes. So I read this book a couple years ago, and I was so excited about it because it is my mom's favorite childhood book, and I'd just been meaning to read it for years. The movie, which is coming out in March, was like in development at the time, and that was more incentive for me to read it. And I just really didn't enjoy it, and I was so gutted that I didn't enjoy this book because it's about a girl who goes into another world. It's very science fiction-y, fantasy, and just like, I love those stories. I love that trope of like a girl who goes into another world. Alice in Wonderland, Coraline, Every Heart a Doorway, Down Among the Sticks and Bones, Beneath the Sugar Sky. I love that trope, but this just, I don't know, it didn't do it for me. I actually had the box set and I gave it away to Sylvia over at Wish Fulfillment. So I don't even have the books on my shelves anymore, so they're not staring me in the eyes, guilting me into reading them. So I feel like this is a book series that I'll probably just, another one that I'm gonna let go. I do want to see the movie, so I don't know. Maybe there is hope in the future for picking this series up again, but right now I'm just like, I have no interest. The next book series that I'm going to talk about is Bloodlines by Rochelle Mead. This is the spin-off series to the Vampire Academy series. And this is one that I'm kind of on the fence about because while I didn't really enjoy this book that much, I just kept pining for the characters from Vampire Academy. The ending had an arrival of one of those characters that I loved from Vampire Academy, so part of me is tempted to continue with this series, and another part of me is just like, it's not gonna be as good. Why are you gonna torture yourself? Why? Why? The final book series that I'm gonna talk about is probably going to be the most controversial because it is so well loved on BookTube, and that is the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. Now, I was, how old was I? I think I was like a teenager when Percy Jackson started, which I feel like is maybe one of the reasons why I haven't taken to it. But I mean, it has all the elements that I really do love. Again, another young character who goes into like another world, and it's all about Greek mythology, and I love Greek mythology, so I thought that I would love the series. But I really just, it was just average to me. The writing was okay. It was nothing spectacular. And every time I thought about like picking up the second book, I was just like, eh. It makes me sad because Rick Riordan has made 2 or 3 more series that have spawned from Percy Jackson, and they're all about Greek or Roman or Egyptian mythology. And I love mythology, I really do. So it hurts not loving Percy Jackson. I tried really hard, but I'm just not a fan. So now that I've made you all hate me, hopefully not, that's all for this video. In the comments below, I would love you guys to let me know if you have read these series and if you have come to similar conclusions, if you've decided to stop reading the series, if you think I should continue with the series. A lot of these I've pretty much made my mind up, but there are a few that I'm feeling very iffy about. So if you can convince me to keep reading, then I implore you to do so. I'd also love to know some series that you just couldn't get into yourself, because it happens sometimes. It's not the end of the world. It's really not. Sometimes it can be super disappointing, but it is what it is. All right guys, so that's all for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one.